In this course, we will cover everything related to Git and GitHub. Git is a version control system that tracks the changes in your project. On the other hand, GitHub is a repository that contains all the project files. You can consider GitHub as a platform where you put all your project files in a folder called repositories. Simple terms, you can say that GitHub contains the multiple repositories where the repository contains the project files. Git and GitHub are not the same. GitHub is a platform that holds the repositories. On the other hand, Git is a version control system. So what does exactly Git? As I told earlier, Git is a version control system used to track changes in a project files. It was developed by the Linus Torvalds in 2002. What exactly does Git do? Why we need to use it? Enables to manage the different repositories efficiently. As I told earlier, GitHub contains the multiple repositories. Here repository means you can think of a folder. It contains all the project files. If you have multiple repositories, using the Git, you can efficiently manage the repositories. It is used to clone a remote repository in your local machine. It also helps to maintain the different versions of the same project. If you are working on the different versions of the project, Git helps to maintain that. It also helps to push the latest version of the project to the remote repository. So why we need to use Git? In industry, 70% of the developers use the Git. It allows the developer anywhere on the planet to work together on the project. Using the Git, you can see all the full history of the changes made to the project files. If there are any errors in the latest version of the project files, you can just revert back to the early version of the project file. So these are the features that enable us to learn the Git. Let us see how to download the Git. To download the Git, just go to the Google and type Git download. Click on this first link here. So Git is available for all the OS. You can see it is available for Mac OS, also Windows and Linux. Choose your platform. In this case, I'm going to choose the Windows. In this case, I'm going to choose the 64-bit. As you can see, it starts downloading. So this is the installation setup for the Git. So just click on next and click on next. Use the bundle open SSH. Don't use the external SSH. So click on the install. I have already installed the Git, so I will just cancel this installation. As you can see, I have already installed this software, so I will open the software now. So this is the terminal of the Git, you can see. So let me zoom it here a little bit. If you want to check the version of the Git that you have installed, you can use the command git version. It will display the version that I have installed on your system. As you can see, we have currently installed 2.45. So this is the version that we have installed. After you install the Git, next you need to configure your email ID and username. For this, just type git config global. This global flag is used to ensure that the username and password is constant throughout the environment. User.email, just type your email here. So press enter. Now your email has been set successfully. Next we need to set the username. So let's change the email to username. Provide your username now. So I will provide my username now. Now both the email and username has been set successfully. Now we have configured the username and email ID. It's time to move to the next step, that is initializing the Git. For this, first we need to create a folder. So let me open my Git Bash here. So let me zoom the terminal. I'm going to create a folder now in the desktop. So I have created a folder called the Git course in the desktop. So I will jump into that Git course. Now we have created the folder. Let's initialize Git on this folder. So for this, just type git init. This will initialize the git on this folder. So when you press enter, you can see we get a command that initialize empty git repository. So when you open the folder now, you can see a hidden folder. This will only be available when you enable the hidden items. This hidden folder is responsible for tracking all the changes in your project code. So let me close this and see the status. Currently, we don't have any files to work on. So let me try to add some files here. So let's create a sample HTML file here. So let's try to put some basic HTML code. So let's change the extension to HTML. So now we have created a one file. Now let's use the git status to see. Now the git successfully identified the index.html. This is an untracked file. One of the core features of using the git is that we have the concept of staging and the commit. Whenever we finish a certain part of the work, in this case we have finished the index.html, we should move this file to the staging area. You can consider staging area as a review area where we have already finished the files. So if you want to edit or modify the file later on, we can get the files from there. Here in this case, we have finished this index.html. For simplicity, we should move this file to the staging area. To move the file to the staging area, we use the command git add and the name of the file index.html. Again, if you use the git status, you can see that that file has been moved to the staging area. Whenever we finish a certain part of the work, we should move the file to the staging area. Then only we can commit it so that it is ready to be pushed to the repository. And the next concept is the commit. So you can consider commit as a save point, where whenever you occur a problem, you can revert back to that save point. So adding commits help us to keep track of the progress and help us to track changes in the project. There are two concepts. One is the staging and the next one is the commit. Staging is where you move all your finished files. Commit is when you finalize that the file can be uploaded to the repository, you can move the file from the staging area to the commit. So let's move this index file to the commit now. So for this, we type git commit. Whenever you commit a file, we always include a message. So git commit, to include a message, we use the flag -m and the message is initial files. As you can see, the commit has been successfully created. We can also add more than one file to the staging area. To do that, let's create another two files. So this will be readme.md. Before that, let's add some contents into the. So this is the readme file. Let's rename the file now. Let's also create a CSS file now. So let's change the extension to the CSS. Now we have created two another files. Let us see how to add these two files. For this, we will use the flag called the -add. This will add all the files to the staging area. Now if you use the git status, you can see that two file has been added to the staging area. Once we add the files to the staging area, you can commit them. So git commit. So the message for these files are the style files. It can be anything. It is a reference for us. So once you add a commit, you can use the git log to see all the commits that you have performed from the starting to the end. This is the, you can see that this is the first commit that we have performed. This is the initial files for the HTML. This is for the readme file and the style file. So if you don't know what if a certain command performs, you can use the help command. So if you don't know what commit do, you can use the git commit help. It will provide what commit does. You can use this help command to see what are the flags available. If you want to see all the commands available, use the git help --- all. It will display all the commands available. You can say we have the add, we have the bisect, we have the branch, we have the clone. We have understand the concept of staging area and commit. It's time to move on to branch. In Git, a branch is used to maintain a different version of the same project. For example, if you are working on a larger project and if you want to add new features to the existing project, so what would you do when you are without using the Git? In this case, you will copy all the files to a separate folder and try to add the new features. But using the Git, you can easily create a new branch and work on the new features. So with the help of this branch, you can work on the different version of the same project without disturbing the existing project. For example, we have the files from the previous video. You can see that we have the 3 files, that is index.html. So suppose if you want to add new features, like if you want to add a image to this HTML file, what would you do? In this case, let's create a new branch and try to add that image in that separate branch. Let's create a new branch now. So let me open my Git bash. So let me zoom my terminal so you can view the text clearly. I will jump into the desktop and also to the Git course. If you see the current branch available, you can see that we have only one master branch. So our goal is to add a new image to this index.txt file in a separate branch. And after we added a new image to the index.txt, we will combine the old file with the new branch. So let's try to add new image to this index.txt file and see the beauty of branch and merging. After we have added the image, you can just combine the, or you can say you can just merge the old files and the features on the new branch. So let me minimize this new branch now. To create a new branch, you just use the git and branch followed by the name of the branch that you want to create. In this case, I want to create hello world images. Again, if you use the git branch, you can see that hello world images has been created successfully. But the star beside master indicates that we are currently at the master branch. If you want to move from one branch to another branch, you can use the git checkout. So in this case, I want to move to hello world images. Now we got switched to the hello world images branch. Let's open our folder now. Since we are in the hello world images branch, we can work on the new features here. For example, let's open our index.txt file here. Let's try to add new features now. For example, let's add the paragraph here. So we are now in the hello world images branch. Let's close our paragraph tab and also try to add a new image. This is what our intent here. So to add a new image, use the image tag. The source of the image is, currently we don't have any images, right? So I will just copy an image from my downloads. So I will copy this image and paste it here. So let's add the image to the source. So this is our image, and the alternative text is the adding image to separate branch. So let's save this file and let's see the status now. So this status, you can see that we have modified the index.txt file and we also added a new file, that is PDF into website. So let's try to add these modified files to the staging area. So git add, I will use the flag, so it will add all the files to the staging area. Again, if you use the git status command, you can see that these 2 files has been added to the staging area. So let's move the files from the staging area to the commit. So git commit -m. I'm going to type added image successfully. So now we have completed our new feature, right? So let's press enter. And if you want to see the magic of using the branch, if you check the master branch, that is, if you move to the master branch, you can see the magic here. We got the old files. If you open the index.txt file, you will only have the existing files. For example, we have added a new paragraph, right? Currently we are in hello world image branch. That is not present here, you can see that. And we also don't have the PDF into image, website image. Again, if you check out to the hello world, you can see we got the new modified files. That is, we got our image. And if you open the index.txt file, we got our modified. That is, we got our image and we also got our text here. This is how you work on the different versions of the same project. That is, this is a separate version, right? We added a new image, and in the original branch, that is the master branch, we have the same project without any modification. This is the beauty of using the branching. Now we have added our new feature, right? It's time to combine the new feature to the existing feature. That is, we want to merging the two branches. For example, let's check out to the master branch now. So this is open 3 folders, so let me close that one. Since we are in the hello world branch, we can see that this is our updated file. So let's go to the master branch. So git checkout master. So we got our old files without any modification. So if you want to combine the new features to this existing project, we will use the merge keyword, git merge. Here we will going to merge the hello world images to the master branch. So git merge hello world images. Tada! We got our PDF into website image, and we also got so let me close this. So if you open the index.txt, you can see that now we got our image and we also got our paragraph. That is, we are now in the hello world image branch, and we also have the master branch. Now we have combined the two branches successfully. This is how you use the concept of branching. First, we will create a new branch and work on the different version of the branch. Once we completed the features, we can then combine back to the existing branch. Now we have done with the hello world images, we can successfully delete the branch. So to delete the branch, git branch -d. The name of the branch is hello world images. So we deleted our branch. If you open our git course, you can see that we got our latest version of the project. So let's also use the git branch. So we are in the master branch. So this is how you use the concept of branching to work on the different versions of the same project and combine those new branch to the existing branch. Now we have covered all the topics of Git. Let us move on to the GitHub. GitHub is a place where you can share all your project files as a repository. So if you go to the github.com, you will see a page like this. This is how the GitHub will look like. You can see that let's build from here. Let us see how to create an account on GitHub. For this, you will have the two options. Either you can click on the sign up or sign in. I have already have an account, so I will click on this sign up. So I will log in using my credential. If you don't have an account, you can create a new account. Click on this create an account. You can see that it will guide you how to create your account. So it says enter your email. I will skip this. You can create your account by following this guideline. So I will skip this and log in using my credentials. So I will after you log into the GitHub, the dashboard will look like something like this. So let's go to my overview. So the dashboard is look like this, where you have all the popular repositories and also the contributions you have made. You can see that all the details here. But for the new account, you don't have anything. If you want to create a new repository, just click on these repositories, and after that it will list all the repositories that you have previously created. But for the new user, just click on this new icon. So this is the procedure to create a new repository. So give a name for your repository. In this case, this is Git to GitHub testing. This is my name of the repository. The repository can be either a public key or a private. In this case, I will stick to the public repository. Next, you can add a README file. README file is like a description of what your repository are currently doing. So I will leave that to that. Next, create on this create repository. So after that, we have completed creating our repository. Currently, we don't have any files on our repository. We will push all the files to this repository here. First of all, let's create a folder. I'm going to create a folder using make-dir, and the folder name is project1, and use the cd command to jump into that folder. Then I'm going to create a one Python file, touch app.py. This will create a empty Python file, and then I'm going to use a nano text editor to edit this Python file. This Python file will simply print hello world. So let's type our code here. Let's save this file and close it. Now we have a folder in desktop. In that folder we have one Python file. So this is the folder that we are going to push to the repository. This is the repository that I have mentioned. First of all, let's initialize our GitHub. For that I will use the command git init. Now if you open the folder that we have created, in that folder we have a new hidden folder. This folder will keep track of every changes you make to the project files. Now we have initialized our Git. Then we will configure our username and email ID. For this I am going to use git config -- global user.name. Provide your name here. In this case I will provide my name. Press enter. Then I will provide my email ID. For this use the same command git config global user.email. Provide your email ID here. Now we have defined our name and email ID. Next we are going to make a connection to the repository that we need to work on. This is the repository that we are going to work. So we will make a connection. So just copy the GitHub link and come to the Git bash. Now we need to establish the connection between this Git and GitHub. For this I am going to use the command git remote add origin. Just paste the code that we have copied. Then I am going to use git remote -v to check what is the URL for git push and git fetch. For the git push it will use the repository that we have given, and for the fetch also it will use the repository that we have specified. Now we have added the repository to the git. Then we will have to verify that this repository actually belongs to us. For this we will need something called the access token. To get the access token, go to the GitHub and click on your profile, and in the profile just click on settings. In the settings, if you scroll down you can see an option that developer settings. Just click on that. In the developer setting you will have something called the personal access token. Expand that. In that you will have tokens classic. Just click on that. If you click on that, a new page will open. In that you will have something called the generate new token. Click on that. Click on generate new token classic. Here just give a name for your token. In this case I will type git to GitHub testing. Then select the expiration date. I will choose 7 days here. Then choose the scopes that you want. I will choose repo, workflow and user. and click on generate token. Don't share this token to anyone, otherwise your GitHub account will be compromised. Keep this token private. So just copy this token, and now we're going to verify that the repository that we have provided actually belong to us. For that, just go to the git bash, type the command that git remote set URL origin, and then use the https, type your username. So this is my username here. After that, use colon and paste the token that you have copied, and then use at github.com slash provide your username here again slash, then you will have to provide your GitHub name. For this, just go to the GitHub and click on the home button. Select the repository that we have defined. So our repository is Git to GitHub testing. Copy the name of the repository that we have defined. So this is a name of a repository. Copy this and paste it here, and finally click enter button. Now our authentication is complete. It's time for our project files to get pushed to the GitHub account. For this, I'm going to use a git status command to see what are the files are available. As you can see, currently one file is available, app.py. I'm going to use the git add command so that it is ready to be pushed to the GitHub. The command will be git add. I'm going to select all the files that are available in this current working directory. For this, I'm going to use full stop. If you get any error like this, then use the command that config code.autocrif, make that to true. So just press enter. Again use the git add command now. As you can see, the error has been gone. Again I'm going to see the status now. Git status, as you can see, that file has been added. Now it is ready to be pushed to the GitHub. I'm going to push this file to the master branch. Currently we are in the main branch, as you can see in the background. We're going to push this to the master branch. Before that, I will have to make a commit. Commit is a message that you can think of it as a description. So git commit, use the -m, and the message will be updated. As you can see, one file has been changed. Now use the git push command. As you can see, the files has been transferred to the GitHub repository. Just go to the GitHub account. Now we are in the main branch. That is why the Python file is not present here. As you can see, in the master branch we have the Python file. Just click on that. In that Python file we have print of hello. For now, just change this Python file and re-upload it. So now I'm going to use the app.py. I'm going to change this hello to hello world. So just save this file and exit. Again I'm going to use the git add command. Again I get the same error, so I will use git config -- global auto. So I'm going to commit a message that finally I'm going to use the git push command to push this updated file to the repository again. As you can see, the file has been successfully transferred to the GitHub repository. Now refresh the page to see the changes. As you can see, the hello has been successfully replaced by hello world. This is the purpose of Git. It keeps track of every changes you make to the file. So this is how you push the files using the git commands. Now we have added all the files from our local repository to the GitHub. You can see that we have only one file now, app.py. Let us see how to add a new file from our GitHub. For this, click on this add a readme file. This is how the GitHub editor will look like. Let's try to add some content here. So this readme file is basically a description of what your repository is actually doing. So this is our description here. This repository is used to teach Git and GitHub concepts. To save the changes, click on this commit changes and click on commit changes. Now our readme file has been added successfully. If you want to add another file, click on add file and click on this create new file. Here we will add some HTML codes here. So this is just a random HTML code. Give a name for your file. In this case, this is index.html. To save this file, again click on Commit Changes. As you can see, our file has been added successfully, index.html. We have added two files, index.html and readme file. But if you look our local repository, that is our project folder. So let me open my project folder. So let me close this and open my project folder. You can see that we have only one file in our local repository. But in GitHub, we have two files, readme.html and index.html. For this, we have to use the concept of fetch and merge. Fetch is used to get all the changes from the remote repository in our local repository. As you can see, let's see how to get the updates from the remote repository to our local repository. Let's use the command now, git fetch and origin. This is used to get all the updates from the remote repository. As you can see, there are three updates here. You can see that if you use the git status, you can see that our branch is behind by 3 commits. You can see in the message. If you use the git log command, git log, it will display all the messages. So git log, origin, and the branch is main. You can see that we have created the readme file and we have created the index.html file. This log contains all the commits we have made. Let me clear and minimize the git bash now. So if you want to get the files from the remote repository to our local repository, you will have to merge them. For this, just use the command git merge origin and the branch is main branch. We are in the main branch. Press enter. You can see in the file explorer that two files has been created successfully. You can see that we have now index.html and readme.md file. This is the message we also got from the git bash. There is another easy way of doing this without using the git fetch and git merge. For this, let's create another new file here. So this file name will be style.css. Let's add some basic styling. So let me save the file now. Now we have added another file. Let us see how to get the updates from this remote repository to our local repository without using the git fetch and merge command. For this, we will use the concept of git pull. Git pull origin. This command is basically a combination of git fetch and git merge. As you can see, without using the two commands, we just use the single command and get the style.css. You can see that we have changed the one file and add style.css successfully. Git pull is mostly used nowadays widely. So you can use the git pull instead of using the git fetch and git merge. If you look at the branch we have in our GitHub, you can see that we have only one branch, that is main branch. If you want to add another branch, click on view all branches. If you want to add a new branch, click on this new branch. This can just give you a name for your Git branch. So let's click on create new branch. Now we have created a new branch successfully. So let me go back and see the branch now. Now let me change something in this new branch. So I will click on let's try to change something in the index.html file. As you can see, our branch is up to date with the main branch. For now, just change the contents now. Click on this index.html file. I will change some contents now. So to edit the file, click on this pen icon. So let me change the title from 20 Turing Machines Questions to Git Branch Tutorial. If you look at the preview, it will display what changes we have made. You can see that we have changed from this to this. So let me save this now. So click on commit changes now. As you can see, now we have changed something in our new branch. Let me open my git bash now. Again, use the git pull command to stay up to date with our remote repository. As you can see, we are a new branch has been detected in git bash. Update index is the new branch. And we are also up to date. Let's use the command git status now to see what are the messages we have. You can see our branch is up to date. But if you look at the git branch now, just type git branch. You can see that this branch is not available on our local repository. This branch only available on the GitHub. For this, we will have to check out from this main branch to the update index branch. So git checkout update index. This will move our local main branch to the update index branch. Let's use the git branch now. As you can see, we are on the update index branch. Earlier we saw that there is only one branch available, that is the main branch, and the update index branch is only available on the GitHub. But when we use the checkout command, we can see that we are now switched to the update index branch. So if you open the index.html file, you can see that the title has been changed from the GitHub tutorial. So now we have a index.html file. Let us see how to host this index.html file using the Git pages. You can see that we have the index.html. Let us see how to host this. So let me switch to the main branch. To host this index.html, just go to the settings and click on pages. As you can see, we will deploy the file from the branch. Select the branch in which you want to deploy. So I will choose the update index branch and click on change save. As you can see, our GitHub pages is currently disabled, but when I click on the save button, our GitHub pages site is currently being built from the update index branch. Let's give a few seconds so that our website is building. So let me continue after our site is ready. As you can see, now our site is live at the following URL. If you click at the visit site, as you can see, our website is successfully deployed at the GitHub pages. This is just a sample HTML files. This is how you deploy a website with the help of GitHub pages. To generate the SSH key, just copy this command and paste it in your Git bash. I will copy this command and paste it in my Git bash. So this is the command. So replace this with your actual email address and press enter. Enter the location in which you want to save the key. It is okay for me to save to the default location. I will press enter. So it asks me, I have already having XSS key, so it asks me to overwrite. So I press Y, enter again. Now our SSH key has been successfully generated. Use this command to copy the SSH key to your clipboard. So let's paste the command now. Now the SSH key has been copied to our clipboard. Let's go to our GitHub to add the key. Now click on the profile icon and select the settings. In the settings, you have SSH and the GPG keys. Click on that. As you can see, I have already generated the SSH key. So I will click on add new SSH key. Just give a name for your SSH and paste the SSH key that you have copied and click on this add new SSH key. Now we have added the SSH key. Let's test our connection. For this, just open the repository and click on this code and select the SSH instead of this HTTPS. Copy this code and open your Git bash. And let's try to clone the repository using the SSH. So git clone, paste the SSH URL of the repository. Now press enter. As you can see, we successfully cloned the repository using the SSH. Now our connection is verified.